A simple jingle immortalized the golden days of the enchanting Willow Grove Park. It's where the Alps and the Funhouse thrilled millions, and teens dancing on the Midway hit the airwaves. Out of the way, Carousel thrived, as did most parks at the turn of the 20th century, including Willow Grove Park. For children, the promise of a merry-go-round ride offers a reason to behave while mom and dad are shopping at the mall.
What if my grandkids see me on this hiding horse? They'll think I'm crazy.
But for their grandparents, the sights and sounds of the carousel remind them of what once happened here.
It was the greatest amusement park in the world.
We came in our second date and we went to the Tunnel of Love. I kissed my wife the first time. She said, "What do you do that for?" I don't know. I just love you, I guess.
Fond memories rush back for shoppers who visited the amusement park that occupied this spot for 80 years. The Philadelphia Rapid Transit Company built Willow Grove Park at the end of a trolley line in rural Montgomery County. Guests boated, picnicked, and crowded the bandstand.
Willow Grove Park was very quickly known as the music capital of the world. Sousa was obviously the most popular leader.
Oh, Sousa. Everyone knew Sousa.
Each season from 1901 through 1926, tens of thousands packed the bandshell to hear rousing routines from the March King.
And Sousa has been quoted as saying Willow Grove Park was one of his most favorite stops.
Postcards reveal well-manicured lawns, colorful gardens, and a tranquil man-made lake with a colorful electric fountain. Look closely at the guest's wardrobe, and you get a sense of the strict standards.
You didn't go to it dressed casual. It was very formal.
Usually it was a blazer, had to have a hat, tie, and any gentleman who appeared improperly dressed was escorted out.
In the coming years, Willow Grove would become the preeminent park of its time. Flourished. Few parks could contend with the popularity of Willow Grove Park in Montgomery County.
When Meyer Davis took the park over in 1927, he put a lot of money in advertising.
Music at the once famous music capital of the world took a back seat. This 1929 promotional film shows Meyer knew how to capture crowds. He hosted firefighter competitions to see which company's hose could shoot farthest. He opened his grounds to social club picnics. Parades marched through the Midway.
I suppose Willow Grove would do anything to bring people in, but they did have beauty pageants for the most beautiful women in the area. They also ran some oddball pageants, the most beautiful feet.
Here, women line up for the popular National Foot and Ankle Contest. Judges scoped and measured the shapeliest limbs, the trimmest ankles, and the daintiest feet. But much of the summer fun during Willow Grove's early years revolved around water.
You could rent a rowboat and just spend an hour on the lake. Or we had a big swan that seated 20 people. And that went around the whole lake 2 or 3 times.
My sister and I, of course, were the youngest and just babies at that time. And of course, we didn't call it Willow Grove Park. It was a ducky that walks in the water. Because all we remembered was the swan boat.
On the ground, the Caterpillar took you on a whirl in the dark. And as the nation fixated on Lindbergh spanning the Atlantic, Willow Grove offered kids their own chance to soar. Many remember and dreaded the Funhouse.
And you knew when you got to the open barrel that there would be a lot of gawkers standing on the outside because they had all those air jets on the planks that would move. So you knew that your decorum was going to be up-dumped, if nothing else, to the cheers of all the guys on the outside.
I remember the big roller coaster, the Thunderbolt, and the smaller one, the Scenic.
The park claimed the Mountain Scenic Railway was the longest gravity ride in America. It was also known as the Alps.
I would never go on there alone. Oh no, I had to have somebody with me.
The scariest ride that scared me was the Thunderbolt.
And that roller coaster would go up a very steep incline.
And when you got to the peak, for one reason or another, it would like hold a second and then whoop, right on down you'd go. And boy, I'll tell you, you really held your breath.
But the Thunderbolt wasn't only a Willow Grove adventure. In 1932, Reading's Carousel Park replaced its relatively tame jackrabbit ride with a coaster named the Thunderbolt. Willow Grove also had new owners in the 60s. The Hankin brothers, the well-to-do Montgomery County family, faced declining attendance. It was the track on a popular 45 that made folks take notice of Willow Grove Park once again.
Hey, where life is a lark, you bet it's Willow Grove Park, not far from Philadelphia. They're happy and gay.
Written by band leader Jules Helsner, a friend of Max Hankin, one of the owners.
Well, one day I'm on the golf course with Max, and I said, "Why can't you play golf tomorrow?" He said, "I have to be in Allentown or I have to be in Chester at a radio station to advertise the park." I said, "How about if I make a commercial for you, a record?" Well, he said, "Fine." So 2 weeks later, he had a record on a 45 called Life Was a Lark. And that's the reason I wrote the song, to keep Max so he can play golf. They started to play the record instead of Max doing personal interviews at radio stations.
Jules claims business skyrocketed. The Hankins were thrilled, and the song was etched in the memories of thousands of listeners.
Hop aboard the Frontier Express, rocket to the moon. Here it is. After 53 years in the music business, and now I'm going to be 86. The only thing that I hear about that people come and ask me about is Life is a Lark at Willow Grove Park. Hey, I used to do this better when I was younger. Life is a lark at Willow Grove Park. Yeah.
But the song wasn't enough to keep the park afloat.
I think the decline of the park began when more and more people started using automobiles for trips further away.
To reshape Willow Grove's image as an exciting and family-friendly park, the Hankins called upon Castle Rock's favorite son, Gene Kay.
Willow Grove was looking to increase their attendance. The Hankins wanted to sell the property. It was my job to build weekday attendance.
TV 17 presents Gene Kay at Willow Grove.
Surrounded by dancing teens, Gene Kay carried the chart toppers into thousands of homes.
Now let's go to Willow Grove Park, where life is a lark, with your host, Gene Kay.
And a very pleasant good afternoon, and welcome out to Willow Grove Park.
I had go-go girls from the Lehigh Valley who were standing on top of these high-risers doing their dances in the short skirts and the white boots that were the style at the time. And there were teenagers who would come to my dances that I had selected. But then interspersed with that, you saw continuous shots of every ride in the amusement park.
He also welcomed the hottest musical acts in the country.
Leslie Garr.
Gene says his popular dance show worked well.
The attendance swelled so quickly and did so well because of the publicity that the next thing I knew, the Hankins came to me and said, "Guess what, Gene? Six Gun Territory is going to buy the amusement park."
Six Gun Territory still kept the amusements, but they added a Western theme with shootouts and bank robberies and can-can girls.
That would spell the beginning of the end for Willow Grove Park. But while teens were grooving at the Grove,
I mean, I just remember playing the jukebox.
Other young girls did the same at the intimate spot with a similar name, Willow Park in Bethlehem.
It was spotless. It was a clean park.
5 years later, Six Gun Territory, the former Willow Grove Park, couldn't keep an 80-year tradition alive.
Everyone knew the park was declining, but everyone had hoped that it would stay running.
Some rides were not being taken care of.
This is only maybe about an eighth of the original size of the lake. The only thing left is maybe the Willow Grove, this one willow tree over there in the corner.
It was a beautiful amusement park.